Alright, let's get into the profile. So it's Fire King Snake Eye Azamina. Yeah, that's pretty much it. 2 Volcanics. Well, we could take this down to like 1. Definitely not taking to 3. If I want to get the deck close to 40, I think we could do that.
What's the thing? There's the boy.
Then we've got 2 Kieran. It's pretty standard at this point. Don't play 3. There's no reason to play 3. 1 of the Garunics. 1 of the Brick that you have to play for those. 1 of the Ponics. 1 of Arda. 1 Island. 1 Sanctuary. Pretty standard.
You went XO tonight.
Yeah.
What'd you play? Last round you played against Reese and his jank.
It's actually a competent deck. The Shark deck. It's really competent. Yeah. Reese might not play it the best, but I mean it's still a competent deck. I need to get one of those. How have I not got one of those yet? Then Rescue Ace was like a really... I played against the Azamina Rescue Ace one, which is... I need to get one of those.
I'm just sitting here annoying.
Yeah, you are. You actually are annoying me. How did you get those and I don't?
I got a whole bunch of OTS packs.
Oh, that's right, you did too, yeah. So, essentially, yeah, this is like the basic one you play, this 10 standard one. Jesse, I believe, played 3 and 3, but I don't want to play 3 and 3.
You were fooling around with the option of 1?
I was for a while with 1. I think you still want.
Now? Yeah.
I think you still want 2, just because it is a starter with any other fire, and you want to have starters in the deck. So yeah. I can understand why you want to play 3, but if you want to get the deck to 40, then you can play less.
What's the 1-card combo with Volcanics? Like,
it's not a 1-card combo. It's a 1.5 because you need this plus any fire.
Yeah.
So
it's like what I know, and you can tell me where this is going wrong. But I go Volcanics. Send the Ash in hand to grab. Yeah, go on.
So what you do is you just destroy a random fire in hand, and then what you do is you grab Ponics, and then Ponics would trigger because a fire was destroyed. I believe that's how it works. Yeah, so you special Ponics from hand because the fire was destroyed, and Ponics would get you into the Sanctuary, into the island.
See, I didn't do that.
And then you'd be able to then go pop this, destroy it, grab this to hand. Affect this one. Yeah, it's pretty much from there like that. That's how you.
See, I didn't know that was the thing, so I just did this and then grab Kieran and then go Kieran pop and then.
So generally, that's what you want to do. You want to try to end with Kieran in hand because that's like how you'll create layers of interruption.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. I'll have a video up for this later. Yeah. Sometime.
Shout out Retro YGO.
So that's it for the Fire King cards. Yeah. Then for the Sinful engine, we play the Witches, we play the Wanted. We play the OSS for it, then Deception, and the 1 Hello. Yeah, cool. So some people don't like maxing this, but you want to max this engine.
Yeah.
This is the best starters you have in the deck, and it creates interruption and protection through everything your opponent can do.
This stuff is unreal.
It is absolutely.
The fact that you can recur.
So what a lot of people.
In your packs?
Nothing.
No secret?
Nothing.
What did you get?
5 supers, actually right here.
Didn't you get 6 packs?
Yeah, I got enough.
Oh,
so these are just insane. But a lot of people make the mistake of what they do is when they summon the first one off of this, they'll link this and Witch. They'll link the Rishilaga and Witch off.
Yeah.
And then they'll recycle it that way. But that plays heavily into Bestials, and you'll never be able to recur this. Yeah. So what you do is you just return it on field. Yeah. No, you return it on field into extra, and then because your Witch will get you the OSS, you just activate it again, send OSS, and you have the monster on field. Okay. So then you don't have to play into a Bestial to get the negate.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I don't understand why you cut this engine down. You want to max it. It's,
100%.
It's the best thing you see. Yeah. And then we play a small Snake Eye package, which is just Oak, Ash, Poplar, Flamebirch, and then 3 bonfires. It's easy to decide the 2 bonfires out going second if you play Thrusts.
Yeah, I noticed I was doing that heaps too.
Yeah. And then what this does is when you already have access to the island, these are the best cards because they just create more presence on board.
Yeah.
So yeah, not much more to say than that. More like a supplementary fire engine and like.
Yeah.
And then for the hand traps, 3 of the expensive card.
Maxi!
3 Ash.
Yes, sir.
I played 3 Nib. I know this isn't standard and a lot of people are cutting this, but
at a local level, I think it's correct.
It's not just at a local level. My opinion of this is the best cards you can draw into, because you want to draw into Nib, right? Are Fulos. But then Nib plus any other hand trap is always going to be like a blowout. So it's like, I want to draw into something which is going to be impactful. That's Nib. even though it conflicts with the 3 copies of Impulse,
They look amazing.
even though it conflicts, you want to draw into Nib with something else. So maybe that something else is Impulse, maybe it's Ash, maybe it's Imperm. The fact is, Nib is the best hand trap to draw into. So that's why we just, even though we play Impulse, we play Nib.
Yeah.
Because there's such limited options that work with this. The only other options you can play outside of these would be Bestials and Phantasme.
Yeah.
Everything else is not playable.
And I think because of how many cards in the main?
43.
43. So the likelihood you're going to see both of these.
But it happens a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Because
But-
you draw into them with Fulos.
Yeah, if they're playing in the full loss, they're losing the game regardless. So seeing both of these is going to be an issue.
Not always, because there's a lot of decks that can play around Fulos. Like the mirror match of this can actually play around Fulos quite well, where they only give you like 1 to 2 draws. Where you want Nib just to be able to have blowout, or draw into Impulse, as I said, because you just need to draw into other higher impact ones. And these are like the highest impact hand traps you can have.
Yeah. Most bang for your buck.
Droll is another like speculative option, but when you're getting into the world of Droll, you really just can't play Impulse with Droll and Nib.
Yeah.
So that's it for the main. We'll go
Are you pretty happy with everything? You wouldn't make any changes?
I'm gonna test a little bit more, and we'll see what we can do. But I think we could test with 1 Volcanic, we could try 3 Volcanics. We could try 2 Deception instead of 3. Just because
I played 2 Deceptions tonight, and I didn't miss it at all, but it hurt the consistency of the deck. That's what I'm going to say.
I don't think it's that bad to cut it down, just because you want to put if you want to put the deck to 40, like just see more starters, maybe. I don't know. It's something I'm gonna play with.
Yeah.
Extra deck is quite standard. It's just the 2 Azamina fusions.
These are my 2 new favorite cards.
Yeah, they are quite ridiculous.
Yeah.
Something people don't know is when these cards are destroyed by battle or card effect, you actually get to recycle a Sinful Spoils card.
Yeah.
So people didn't know that.
I read that in the last round. I'm like, how have I not been doing this all night?
Yeah, it's actually quite amazing that people didn't know that. I tried this out. I do not like it. I do not think I'll play it again.
Yeah.
It feels like you're forcing it every time it needs to get, or it's like your last interaction where it's like, okay, you probably lost the game anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And when you are using it, you're beyond the point of saving the game anyway.
It's not always. It's just that it's always the last interaction you want to do, or you need to chain it with something else, like say Promethean trigger, and then Sanctuary trigger this to just make sure you get more value out of your cards, to then recycle your Garunics. It just doesn't feel good ever.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'll probably change it to something else, like maybe Photon Lord or Typhon. Harbinger, on the other hand, I love this card.
Yeah.
This card won me so many games just by having it on the end board. And then we play Anima, Sunlight Wolf. Really cool thing about Sunlight Wolf I like is that if you Ash Blossom early, like your opponent goes Chummy on you, you Ash Blossom it. You can just make Sunlight Wolf and get the Ash Blossom back, which is like really, really OP.
Yeah, recycling Ash Blossom.
Nightmare Phoenix. This might be one of the best cards in. I made this so much to clear back row before going into combo.
Oh yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
I love that. And then we also have SP, IP, Dark Charmer. Some people don't play Dark. I like it a lot, especially for playing Mirrors, because you can just take their Witch and then you get to access your own engines.
Yeah.
Heater, Promethean, all standard. Ambler Whale.
Only 1 Promethean?
It's something you can mess around with, maybe 2. Like again,
I found that I only did 1 tonight as well. So yeah.
it's just like you're gonna cut. I'm gonna cut this out. There's gonna be something else. Like so, there's 1 spot open. You could try a
Zombie Vampire.
No, that was a terrible. I don't like Zombie Vampire. We're not going to be using Zombie Vampire.
Yeah.
But you could fool around with the second Promethean. It's not that bad. There's just a few options.
Well, I played 2 and I only ever used 1.
There are situations where a second one does come up, but it's not very frequent.
Yeah.
Like if you play Photon Lord, I don't think you'll ever need it.
Yeah.
Ambler Whale, because you want to make it part of your end board on the 1 card Ash line. 1 Raging Phoenix, 1 Atlantis. Pretty standard for like the OTK package.
Probably Fueco, that for the Tempai, if Tempai is big.
You could side. If I was going to play Fuko, I would definitely side deck it. It's not worth main decking because it's only good for 1 option. It's not worth taking every spot.
Yeah, fair point.
We then play the side deck 3 of the purrely. Again, just main another one, side this one. We played 1 call by, 3 crossouts, 3 talents. So my thought process is always this. I want to make the best go first options possible.
Yeah.
So that way with post side, I have all of these to handle anything my opponent does going first. Because I know if I resolve full combo, it's nearly impossible for me to lose.
Yeah.
And then for the shifter decks, this is mainly what it's for. 3 thrusts with the 1 D barrier and the 1 DDG.
Yeah. Cool.
So all of the shifter decks, and then again, if you're playing the mirror match, you can set into thrust and then set this, and they can't do anything.
Fair. So
And
recap, you played last round against Sharks, round 3 was against
Rescue Ace, Snake Eye Azamina, which is like the other really good deck. That deck is really hard to beat if it gets going.
Yeah. So you got to really shock on it.
You have to be able to play through the layers of interaction. If they fully resolve everything they do, you probably aren't stopping them. That's how it goes. So you can stop them early, but luckily I won the dice roll in that game. I opened Ash for the Chummy, Bonfire, and then Witch.
Yeah, cool.
And at that point, you're just winning the game.
Yeah.
And in game 3, I didn't make a misplay, but we were able to play through it with all of our layered interaction.
Nice. And then round 2.
Round 2. What was round 2? Round 2. That's right. We played Sprite round 2, and they played into Nib. We just nibbed them, and we win that game quite easily. And then game 2 was just like go break the board with Viking cards.
Yeah.
And then round 1 we played against Runic Stun. Thank God that they only saw Skill Drain as the flood, because this deck can play through Skill Drain.
Yeah, cool.
Any other flood, I would have been like, oh God.
Yeah.
It's a terrible matchup like that one. And not terrible matchup, just like terrible gameplay matchup.
Yeah.
But yeah,